Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are making Flower Girl baskets basically from scratch with a few items that I got from Target and Amazon, and of course lots of hot glue. This is what they look like when they're done. I just finished and now I'm filming the intro of the video because I thought I would give that a try. So yeah, lovely, beautiful, lacy, dainty, elegant. They look like a flower themselves, at least I think they look like a tulip. And I'm gonna show you how you can make your own. All right guys, here is what I am starting with. I'm gonna take these outside and get the first coat of spray paint on them, but here is a close-up on the basket beforehand. It's not really a basket, there's no handle, but I am hoping that's what this is gonna solve, and I will figure out how to attach that later, probably with some fishing line. We're gonna cover it with satin and lace and lots of paint. We're gonna get going. So let's get these spray painted to the right color, and once they're dry we can start making a handle for them. So that wicker rattan kind of reed that we've got that is also painted, go ahead and measure out to the appropriate length. This is whatever you want it to be, and go ahead and attach it with some fishing line. So just tie a really good knot on one side, figure out where you want to attach it to the basket itself, and just wind back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with that fishing line on both sides until they are lovely and attached and nice and secure. Because it's fishing line, it kind of blends right in. I needed to paint this better, but whatever, it looks good and it functions as a basket. So you can hold it and swing it and it's perfectly what we want. All right, so the paint is dry and the handle has been attached just with some fishing line, but it curved very nicely and it's not distorting the basket shape at all. So I'd say that's a win. I do have a few things just to fill out these kind of bars with because they're too big, the petals will escape. So what we're going to do is take some beautiful lace, and I chose a white scalloped lace. It's very pretty. I'm gonna hold it this way so you can see the detail. Very pretty. And I have quite a bit of that. I think I have like 2 yards of that. And then I have less of this lace, and it's also very pretty. It's also scalloped, and it's just a little bit thicker woven, but this is very pretty. I have maybe half a yard of that, 2 feet. I don't even know how much this is. I don't think it's enough to really do the entire outside of the basket with. I mean, maybe just barely, but the scallops don't line up with the beautiful petal shape of the basket. And I found that with this one too. I think it's just like a sizing difference. So I'm going to use both of them. And I've got my hot glue heating up off the side. So what I'm going to do is take this one here, the smaller of the two, I don't even know if you call this a ribbon, just like a lace applique, I guess. It's not really a ribbon, it's not really a piece of fabric. And I'm going to attach it and try and get the kind of bump of the scallop over one of these. So you'll notice that it just doesn't really line up, and the further you go, the more off it gets. But what I'm going to do is kind of cinch it in the center so that on each scallop it matches up, and we'll cut it if we have to. I'm not really worried about that. Personally, I want the lace on the outside, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just kind of run, because it's a thin one, I'm just going to run a little bit of glue just along the edges of what I want it to adhere to. Just like that, just very nice and light. And then we're going to take a piece of this and we will cut it as we need to, so I'm not worried about starting at the end. We're just going to lay it over that glue so that it connects very nicely and kind of invisibly adheres. So not very much glue. I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll show you. Just like that. So this is falling off, but you can see there's a nice coverage on there. I'm not worried about this. I will cut it. And so for the next one, because that doesn't quite work, I'm going to glue it here and just leave a little gap, and we'll trim that later. So same thing, just kind of run the glue over very lightly over the arches, I guess I would call them. I think it's like a little tulip shape basket. It's little petals in my mind, but whatever you want. So very light amount of glue. We're gonna skip one of the scalloped edges so that I can get a nice lined up arch on the next one. We'll just let that hang out there and be baggy, not a big deal. And then the very end, like these little tippy-toppy bits, I don't know if that's coming up on camera, like these tippy-toppy little threads, that's the only thing that's really gluing to the top bar. I don't want the lace doing this and like bagging over the top. So even though not much is adhering to the glue, there's still a little bit there. So I do want to add the glue to that, but not very much because you only have a few sparse little threads here and there. So you don't want the glue to be predominantly showing through, just a small little glue. We're going to continue on the next one. In the meantime, we have all of this baggy lace that we don't necessarily want. Grab some scissors and trim. Here we go. Here is the beautiful large ribbon that I will be working with. I'm gonna put that off to the side for now. And we're gonna work on trimming. So I'm just going to trim any of the extra. I'm gonna leave just the smallest little lip of lace right there. Actually glue that down a little bit more, especially right there. Smallest little lip of lace there, just because I've got little bits of lace coming off the top here, and then if it's cut very severely on the line of the wood, I think that might look a little strange. So I'm going to leave that. That's personal preference. Cut off this one. Here we go. And this one just needs a little touch up of glue as well. Tiniest little bit. There we go. It's lace, right? So it is very possible to miss the glue point if you have a little hole in the fabric at that point. Here we go, and we trim, 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 and we trim, trim, trim. Same over here. It's already starting to look really great. I'm so excited. So clean up your trimmings, and then you are left with this, which is lovely because the top part's protected. Petals aren't going to fall out of there. You've got something that beautifully echoes the shape of the basket so that the top's very nice. Now all we really need to do is fill in this lower part so that the petals don't fall out. Like, this is a very large hole. Little rose petals, flower petals, dried petals, confetti, whatever you have, that will all escape there. The lace, it's not going to escape from. So we have this beautiful edging, and we're going to do the center. So we're going to go back in with this lace that I have. I love this. I think it's absolutely beautiful. White on white is not the best way to show off the details, but I think it's really lovely. I think I actually got it off Amazon, and if I did, I will find it and link it for you because it's actually really beautiful, and it came in a larger amount. I just have used it. I think that it would be pretty if the scallops could just kind of go in between like that, and then we'll just kind of lay that over the bottom a little bit like that. I think that'll be pretty. Just like that. Obviously, hopefully slightly better, but this, right like this, that's a good representation of what I want. So we are going to try that. So first thing we are going to do is trim this, and we're going to kind of lay it flat so that I'm not cutting a scallop in half. I'm going to line the scallops up just like this. You can see it's kind of doubled up on each other, and we're just going to trim that. If I was smart, I would have started at the ends, because then I would have had more fabric at the ends, maybe like one whole scallop, but that actually doesn't matter because there's so little left. I really do love this stuff though. There we go, we'll get our scraps away. We've got our beautiful scallops here, and we're going to start attaching them in a very similar way. So I am going to go up the petal spokes like I did last time. My glue gun is nice and warm, so I can go fairly quickly, which is sort of important. And then we're gonna go right across this bar here. And we're going to lay down a lovely scallop. I'm gonna pull it down to where I want it and then just kind of drape it. It is hot, so I'm gonna use my scissors to kind of pat it down against the glue. Parts of it are gonna catch, which is exactly what I want. I will deal with the bottom later, so I'm gonna leave that loose, but it's a nice lower scallop than these higher ones. That's what I want. I kind of want big, small, big, small. So we're gonna pull this over. Do the same thing on all of them. I'm not going into the innermost spoke. I'm just doing the two outer ones. Do whatever makes sense for you with your basket. If you don't find this particular one or you don't love the aesthetic that I have going, make it your own, as always. Toss another one on there. Just like that, I think. There we go. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. Hot. There we go. Here is is what we are currently looking like. We've got that beautiful architecture built, and basically I'm working from the top down and the inside out so that the outermost layer of lace is what you see, and it's absolutely beautiful. So for this one, we are going to go through the lace onto the innermost spoke. So you can go under this last bit of lace if it's there, but otherwise just kind of use it to tap down and lightly, lightly, lightly over the top of that fabric there. And then we are going to put our scallop edge and coverage on there. I am turning it slightly diagonal to make it fit because I don't want any holes in my last bit of coverage. You still got the beautiful scallop coming up, but on the angle, this becomes that, and you get that little V of coverage that I need as well. I will just trim a little bit here. I'll do the final trim later so you guys can see, but right now I need my fabric at the appropriate angle, so I'm just gonna do a little cut here and there, just so that I'm able to get it to work the way I need it to work. There we go. So you see we've got that beautiful V shape that we need, just like that. If you're wondering if this is messing up the scissors, yep, it totally is. So just a rough cut there, just make sure you can keep working. Then we're going to clean our scissors and go in and do more of a precision trim. Because it's lace and because you've got these tendrils and threads everywhere, you actually don't have to be super, super precise, but like you don't want something like this hanging off. So just kind of trim it up close to where you glued it down and it's gonna look good. And at this point, if you want a little bit extra decoration on the bottom, you can do it. You can put ribbon, you can put pearls, you can put crystals, anything you want. But believe it or not, for the first time in maybe my entire life, I don't want to add gems to it. Like, kind of the whole point of these baskets for me is that it's a beautiful lace basket in kind of an organic flower shape, and I don't really want crystals or pearls or anything shiny on there. And I know that is going to blow your minds when I tell you that, because it's me and that just doesn't make sense that I don't want it, but I don't. So there we go. Touch up any last bits with glue, any places where maybe the fabric didn't 100% adhere. And that's going to give you that nice seamless look. There we go. Let's switch the camera angle and do a close-up. All right, guys, here is your close-up, a beautiful DIY Flower Girl basket that kind of looks like a flower itself. It's white and delicate and lacy and lovely, and on the inside the petals can go in and not escape out because we've covered all the holes, and it is both budget friendly and really easy and fun to do. So I hope you guys like this. Thanks so much for watching, and bye for now.